Welcome. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to write the equation of a line through two given points. So let's take a look at number 1 as an example. So for number 1, we're supposed to find the equation of the line through the points 7, -8, and 5, -5, 8. So what I've done is I've actually plotted those 2 points, 7, -8, and -5, 8, and I've drawn the line that goes through them. And basically, our goal is to figure out the equation of this line. And so what I know is that every line's equation can be put in what's called slope-intercept form. So that means that I know when I'm all done, my equation is going to look like this. So that's actually where I start. And the reason why I start there is it more clearly defines what my goal is. And really my goal is to figure out what M is and to figure out what B is. If I can figure those two things out and plug them in, I'm done, because y and x just stay as y and x. They stay as variables. So the first step in the process is just to write out y equals mx plus b, because again, any line's equation can be put in this form. So the next step is to find m. So the way I'm going to find m is by using that same slope formula that I introduced in the video for finding the slope of a line through two given points. So if you haven't seen that, take a look at that video before going any further. So the equation that I'm using is this guy, and what we have are 2 points. So we have the point 7, -8, and we have the point -5, 8. So again, I've got an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. And then down here, again, -5 is my x-coordinate, 8 is my y-coordinate. So I just have to decide which one I want to make x1 and y1, and which one I want to make x2 and y2. I'm going to do x2 and y2 here, and x1 and y1 down here. It really doesn't matter, again, as long as you do the math carefully. So when I plug my information in, I've got y2 minus y1 is -8 minus 8. On the bottom, x2 minus x1 is 7 minus -5. So if I do a little simplifying, -8 minus 8 is -16. 7 minus -5 is 12. If I reduce that, I think I get an answer of -4/3. So that is my slope. So step 3 in the process is to plug in your slope. So we've got y equals mx plus b. Well, now I know what m is. So I'm going to plug that in. And then step 3 is to find b. Or excuse me, step 4 is to find b. And the way I'm going to find b is I'm going to use one of the points that's actually on my line. So it doesn't matter which point I use. I'm going to just choose to use -5, 8. And what I'm going to do is, again, what a graph stands for is it tells me all the solutions to an equation. Well, -5, 8 has to be a solution then to this equation that I'm trying to write. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug -5 in for x, I'm going to plug 8 in for y, and I'm going to see what's left over. So if I do that, I've got y equals -4/3x plus b. I plug 8 in for y. I plug -5 in for x, which is -5/1. And now look, all that's left as a variable is b. So now I just need to do a little solving here. So I've got 8 equals -4 times -5 is 20/3 plus b. And so continuing this, I've got 8 equals 20/3 plus b. And 8 is the same as 8/1. So I'm going to subtract 20 over 3 from both sides. But now I'm trying to subtract two fractions, which means I'm going to need to have a common denominator. So what I can do is multiply 8 over 1, top and bottom, by 3. If I do that, I'll have 24 over 3 minus 20 over 3 equals b. Well, if I do the subtraction then, I get 4 over 3 equals b. So that means my final answer, if I plug everything in, is going to be y equals negative 4/3 x plus 4/3. And again, remember, when you're all done, x and y should stay as x and y. Okay, I want you to try number 2, pause the video, and then restart it when you're ready. So for number 2, again, I always start out by writing my y equals mx plus b. Next thing is to find that m value. So we've got m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And in this case, I'm just going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. So I've got 4 minus negative 5. And on the bottom, we've got 5 minus negative 1. If we do a little simplifying, on top we've got 9. On the bottom, we've got 6. So that simplifies to 3 over 2. And we've got our m value. The next step is to plug in that m value. So that would give us y equals 3 over 2x plus b. And now I'm going to plug in my an x value and y value. That's the solution to the equation. So I could either plug -1, -5 in, or 5, 4. Well, I'm going to do the positives. So I'm going to plug 5 in for x and 4 in for y. And that gives me 4 equals 3 over 2 times 5 over 1 plus b, which is 4 equals 15 over 2 plus b. Well, 4 is the same as 4 over 1. So if I subtract 15 over 2 from both sides, well, again, if I want to subtract these two guys, I'm going to need common denominator. So if I times top and bottom by 2, that's going to give me 8 over 2. 8 over 2 minus 15 over 2 is negative 7 over 2 equals b. So my final answer, after plugging my m and b in, should be y equals 3 over 2x minus 7 over 2.